Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Javiera and today I'm excited to take to you on this video where I'll be sharing my reflections on my professional practice as an English teacher, as well as my experience working with the students and the insights I gained at the school. And moreover, I'll show you how I better understood the students' abilities, challenges, and their learning goals thanks to the needs analysis applied at the beginning of the process. First, let's take a look at the agenda where I will be covering all of those different points. I'm currently studying the fifth year course of English pedagogy and doing my professional practice at Liceo San Pedro, which is a school located in San Pedro de la Paz. And the school is a government public school. This is a secondary school with 3 levels per class and with approximately 45 students in each. So there are in total 369 enrolled students already. And now, in terms of infrastructure, the school has a library, a computer room, and enough spaces for classroom. Nonetheless, while they are functional, they are modest, with some classrooms showing um, limited access to advanced learning tools like multimedia equipment or modern teaching technologies. And the expected English level among students goes from A1 to B2, according to the Common European Framework and Reference for Languages. Moving forward to the second point related to identification of learner needs, I will answer to the questions shown in the slide. So you can take a look at my needs analysis, which I applied at the beginning of the process. And I would like to say that the needs analysis was required to start planning lessons, since we teachers can collect valuable information from students to bond in their preferences and foster their participation. In my case, the needs analysis assisted me in collecting information to plan my lessons according to my students' specific wants and needs. There were several questions applied to an 11th grade class, but the most relevant to me were those that indicated their preferred learning styles or strategies when learning English, and which content do they perceive as the most difficult, or which is the easiest for them, and how do they prefer to work, that is, in groups, alone, or in pairs, their hobbies, and last but not least, the manner in which they wanted to receive feedback. Overall, students from the 11th grade A declared that pronunciation was the most complicated ability for them, and their preferred learning strategies were visual and auditory content. Moreover, students confirmed that listening was one of the skills that was easier for them, and through the analysis of the needs analysis, I was able to observe a variety of hobbies, but I will mention just the most general, which are playing video games, listening to music, or do sports. In addition, most of them would rather choose working in groups rather than in pairs, which aligns with Coase and Freitag research, which affirms that limited collaboration opportunities in English foreign language lessons uh, may be make may harder for students to resolve language related episodes when students lack sufficient opportunities to collaborate with their peers. Regarding the unit aims I created, these include the 4 skills of English, but I wanted to focus on contents such as comprehension of written or oral texts, speaking and listening, as well as knowing different cultures, giving personal or critical opinions, developing interest for technology, and so forth. And I was able to plan a unit with these objectives, focusing on the answers to the needs analysis and the English coursebook from the ministry. And as I mentioned before, the easiest skill for them um, was listening, and the most challenging for them was speaking. That is why most of the objectives are aligned with this data. And that's it. Overall, lessons were engaging and inclusive since within the classroom there are students from different countries. Now let's dive into the adaptation of content and materials. The needs analysis was essential for the process of creating material, and as the unit I was teaching was related to cultures, countries, and languages, the answers from the needs analysis analysis enabled me to create or find audiovisual material, listening, or writing exercises that were interconnected with the content of the unit, respecting the students' want and needs. And it is also worth mentioning that the English textbook lacked exercises, audios, or writing activities apart from the reading comprehension items. So adapting materials and creating them from zero was a little bit time consuming and challenging at first, but then I managed to do it with the help of my guide teacher. What UDL adjustments did I make? Well, I personally applied the needs analysis in a class where I was the head teacher and there were no students with special needs. But I did give instructions in English and then in Spanish, or showed the students videos with subtitles. We played online games such as Kahoot, where I was the monitor, also reading the questions. And I even edited some activities for students from other classes who indeed needed a special learning, making the letters bigger or writing the translation just below the original instructions. I was a head teacher in an 11th grade which had difficulty speaking, so one of the strategies I implemented was a roulette in which all of the students had to talk at least once, pronouncing a number out loud. And moreover, we played a speaking game with some countries' flags, in which students had to help each other guess the name of the country without telling the name of it, but their traditions, music, language, or food from these. And to me, this was an opportunity to be more didactic and interactive, emphasizing gamification, um, because, as the author Borgen says, monotonous lessons might lead to boredom, and this author also mentions that new content can be challenging for students if no didactic instruments are applied by the tutor. How students wanted to receive feedback was one of the questions asked in the needs analysis, and they stated that they prefer manner to receive feedback was oral or written from the teacher during assessments or even during classrooms. So when monitoring them during the lessons and giving them feedback, it allowed them improve their skills and behavior, and in addition have academic progress. And it coincides with Hattie, who emphasizes that feedback is a powerful tool that teachers must prioritize for students' better understanding and development. Moreover, I implemented a participation strategy, which included a chart with the students' names, and it consisted of accumulating happy or mad faces, depending on their engagement, participation, or disruptive behavior. And every 5 happy faces, students were able to choose between 3 different rewards. Um, Now, when it comes to understanding, I assured students understood the information by asking them CCQs or ICQs in English or in Spanish, or made them explain the content I had just introduced at times. A cultural question was not asked in the needs analysis because I already knew there was cultural diversity in the school because I had done the previous practice there. And in addition, as is shown before, listening was for them the easier skill, whereas speaking was the hardest. And having said that, some of the lessons started with a Mentimeter, in which students answer questions such as which languages they speak, where they come from, why they think languages are important, and so forth. Furthermore, there was a reading test that asked them whether or not they spoke indigenous languages, and they reflected upon the importance of language preservation to keep traditions and cultures alive. In addressing the needs of my 11th grade learners during the unit number 3, I believe my efforts were successful since the unit was designed to engage the students in exploring the connection between language and culture and also encouraging their critical thinking and their meaningful communication. And by incorporating activities that required collaborative discussions, analytical tasks, and reflective writing, I was able to foster active participation and deeper understanding of the subject matters. and learners demonstrated significant growth in their ability to articulate ideas about the role of languages in shaping identity in societal perspective. So overall, the outcomes reflected the success of the strategies implemented in meeting the learning objectives. The class supervisions were in my case observed with the ninth grade, which was different from the course I was a head teacher, but it was not a problem for me since I had plenty of material for all the classes I took for my schedule. And based on the feedback I received, I will make a few adjustments when it comes to writing objectives, since sometimes I lack coherence in connecting the contents of the class and a communicative objective. Secondly, I would like to work on giving clear instructions to assure a student's complete understanding of the activities for making the environment quiet and save class time. I will, in addition, make the lessons student centered for them to work collaboratively and develop their critical thinking or give them space to communicate and share ideas. And finally, I'd ask content information questions in English to encourage uh, target language usage and develop listening comprehension skills as I usually ask them in Spanish, which is yet a weakness in my lessons. During my professional practice at this school, I gained valuable insights into fostering students' engagement through meaningful and thought provoking activities that foster their participation as well as their critical thinking. And the unit, How Do Languages Shape Our World, from the 11th grade, um, allowed me to explore connections between global trends and their effects on cultures and countries and languages and their preservation. And I personally think I help students reflect on how trends shape the world we are living in, and how some people can struggle to preserve their identities. And I recognize that I still have areas to grow, such as improving my time management during lessons, while I focus on creating engaging activities, because sometimes I struggle to balance time between introducing and then practicing or reviewing the content. And my plan is to give instructions and give the students a limited time of some minutes to complete a certain activity so I can make a stronger impact in the classroom and be efficient. Finally, this semester, teaching at Liceo San Pedro, and specifically the unit I was working with, reinforced my commitment to creating lessons that not only develop language skills but also encourage students to think critically about their role in a globalized world. And this experience has also influenced my goal to further explore um, students' errors when it comes to writing or speaking or listening exercises, and investigate how they can be used as learning opportunities as I continue to grow as an educator. And finally, here we are at the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and here you can take a look at the references I used during this video.